concern you want to raise, we'll take all hands and I'll just go in this order. So I saw 1, I saw 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good evening, I'm Inspector Goodell from the Department of Public Works. I'm looking at the meetings from this point forward. We'll try to set up so that if you have some concern when it pertains to solid waste enforcement program, that's what I'm here for.
Welcome.
If you have any questions, the next meeting I'll be added on hopefully, and I'll be welcome to entertain questions. Thank you. Oh, Inspector Goodell, I work in 5D1.
Thank you.
Number 2, yes ma'am.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm Nancy Lyons. I'm also with the Department of Public Works. Sorry, back to you. Thank you, Commissioners, for having me here today. I'm with the Department of Public Works, and I coordinate the Mural DC project, which is a program that helps to beautify the city, painting original works of art on buildings that have been requested. We have a request for a location 1801 Maryland Avenue Northeast. Some of you may be aware of it. It's a large apartment building for a mural, and I just basically wanted to come here and let people be aware of the Mural DC project. It's a project that any commercial property can apply for. If it's particularly good if you have a problem with graffiti tagging. It's something that's very good in terms of so if you have, I have some flyers in the background just giving you information about the project. And Commissioner Henderson, I look forward to coming to your single member district to talk a little more about it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. Ms. Hardesty, read it.
My name is Esther Hardesty. I am the president of Langston Dwellings President Council. On the 30th, there was a walkthrough. However, I was not notified. Someone out of the area notified me, and I should be notified of all these walkthroughs that you're having, that anyone is having. However, that area belongs to Ms. Blackdale. Now, the walkthrough was not organized. It was not organized, but whoever organized it was not organized. If we're gonna have a walkthrough for any reason, that walkthrough should be organized down to the T. Fancy talking and all that, it's not gonna cut it for me, because I'm not a fancy talking person. But we have to work together. I'm not coming here to put anybody down, or talk bad about anybody, or start any kind of confusion. Because I would sit down and won't say nothing to you, I just ignore it. But the thing is, it was not organized. There was a shooting in our area. There are drugs in our area that we need the police to be more conscientious of it. We have an ice cream truck there in our area that's been there. It leaves and it comes back. We need those trucks gone. They say they don't find anything, but I know that you're watching. But when are you gonna find these people and get these ice cream trucks, quote, drug trucks, out of there? I'm like you. We gotta see you guys. We're not seeing you. And it's unfair to the neighborhood that's trying to do what we need to do to try to get our community safe. We're not the police. We are not the police. We have to have you guys come out when we call you, not just drive around in your cars, but get out and walk and see what's going on. When I call the police, I tell them who I am. I have watched them and I've seen them just drive by. Don't get out of the car, don't walk nowhere. You have to get out and walk. You have to get, so you might tell me you can't get out and walk everywhere. Hey, you gotta do something, because it's not working what you're doing. It's just not working.
Thank you, Ms. Hardesty.
Commissioner.
Can I say?
You know what, one of the things over the years that I've been here, money is one of the biggest things. So a lot of times, I was a tax auditor for the district and a revenue collector. Get the tag number, see if they have a vending license. Go that approach to see if they're paying taxes. Sometimes that can be a more way to get them, because see, if they're selling and they have a vending license, they have to report their sales and report the sales taxes on those sales. So if they're not reporting their sales tax, then they can lose their vending license. I know when the police come up and they don't have a vending license, then maybe that could be just a point to say you have to move on, you don't have a vending license. But maybe try that to Department of Revenue. to see if you can get a revenue officer to see, get the tag number of the vehicle, whatever name's on it, and report that to them to see if they have an active vending license. Start with that.
I understand.
Because sometimes the money thing, if you know, get the other people looking at them, then the police really have a reason, and it have to be drugs, because they don't have a vending license.
Right, but one of them is a Maryland tag.
Even still, so he still has to have a DC vending license. That's my whole point. He has to have a DC vending license.
I can guarantee you they don't.
And that's what, yeah, so
I can guarantee
it's just a
you they don't.
suggestion how to
I
approach it
understand.
different.
I
Yeah.
got you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Trainer. Number 4, Ms. Royster.
My name is Antoinette Royster. Back in July or August of last year, Mr. Harmon and I, we had went up to the commission, the elevator at Huntington Mall. And we were told by Commissioner Henderson that she spoke with the mall, people who belong to mall, and they were gonna have that elevator taken care of and up and running by February. It's still the same, condition.
No, I'm aware of that. I have reached out to the law management again. They claim that they're missing some parts that they've ordered, and I've made it clear to them that they need to get that taken care of. And also, I'm very concerned about the overall upkeep of the mall. The mall doesn't look as tidy and as neat as it needs to, and I've gotten on them about that. So I actually will be doing a walkthrough with them on Friday to address some additional concerns. So thank you for bringing that issue, to my attention again. And also, I apologize that you're having difficulty navigating the mall because they're not doing what they're supposed to.
Thank you, Ms.
And they
Henderson.
did ideas when they go use the park, they don't anything like that.
I should have a better idea of that on Friday after the walkthrough, and I'll be happy to report back to you.
Number 5. Okay, I think I am with you. I thought you were number 5, but I think I missed you earlier, so.
I just had a quick announcement, at least some news for you all. The Benning Road Environmental Assessment Public Hearing is gonna be held next week. Oh, by the way, my name is Sean Moore. I work on the DC Streetcar Public Engagement Team. And what Benning Road Environmental Assessment is, it's the first step in expanding the streetcar system across the Anacostia River to the Benning Road Metro Station. We completed the environmental assessment. The public comment period is open. If you would like to make comments, you can come to the public hearing, which is next week on Thursday, May 19th, over at the Department of Employment Services from 6 to 8. You can also submit your comments online if you go to our website, benningproject.com, or you can email me at info@benningproject.com. I have these cards. We'll have some on the table, make sure all the commissioners have some. If anyone needs more, just send me an email, info@benningproject.com, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. And that's it.
Thank you.
The public hearing is on Thursday, May 19th. Is over at the Department of Employment Services, 4058 Minnesota Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you so much.
All right, and with that, we are going to move into requested presentations. I don't see Director Shorter. He was scheduled to be here, but I don't see him. So we will make sure that Director Shorter is with the Department of Public Works, and we will make sure that he comes to a future meeting. So with that, we'll move to item number 11. Mr. Bailey and Mr. Weinstein, you have the floor for 5 minutes regarding the Citizens Fair Elections Act.
Hi, my name is Ernest Bailey. I live about 3 blocks down from here, and I am a volunteer with the DC Fair Elections Coalition. Okay. My name is Ernest Bailey. I live about 3 blocks down to the left from here, and I'm here today to advocate for the DC Fair Elections Act. I'm doing that because I believe that local elected officials should represent the interests of the people in their community, and that every member of the community should be treated equally, which I think is a very basic concept that most people support. And I have a professional here with me, who is going to be able to present the nuts and bolts of the legislation better than I will. But I just wanted to share really quickly just 5 sentences from an article that I read recently that I think illustrates the local impact of this issue very well. And I think it illustrates it in a meaningful way, which is why I wanted to read it to make sure I got the numbers correct. Just 5 sentences. WAMU and the investigative reporting workshop at American University identified more than $5 million in political contributions from more than 300 firms with the DC Council. Approved contracts from 2005 through 2014. So they looked at a decade's worth of contracts given out by the DC Council. Roughly half of the contractors' campaign cash was donated to lawmakers within a year of their contracts being approved. Roughly 1/5 of council members' campaign contributions analyzed by WAMU came from firms seeking their approval for city contracts. In some cases, the campaign checks were dated the same day a firm's lucrative contract was sent to the council for approval. And the conclusion of this report was that the DC Council has the appearance of a pay-to-play system. This is public money that can be allocated for different reasons within the community, but under the current system, the people who give the greatest contributions have first dibs on that money, and it's not allocated in the most effective way and the way that best serves the community. And so that's why I feel that this is an important issue, and my friend here is going to tell us a little bit about what we can do to mitigate the impact that campaign contributions have on our representation.
Thank you. I actually can't add much to it. I think you kind of laid it out the way it kind of is. Currently, right now, the way that our campaign finance system is funded kind of dictates the arc of our public policy. Like the reason we had $5,000 condos in developers fund the campaigns of the people who run for office. The reason we had McMillan Park, we're giving $90 million away for $8 is because contractors fund the elections that our people who run for office. The reason there's a basketball facility, a soccer stadium, and we can't afford affordable housing, we can't afford more police officers to police our communities because the way that we finance our campaigns. The most important thing about the act, what it does is it lowers the most someone can actually contribute to someone to $100. I'd be hard pressed to make a case as to why I should give you a $90 million parcel of land because you gave me $100. The second thing it does it takes the contribution of other folks and it multiplies it by a factor of 5. So what it does is it increases the power of your votes by 4 to level the playing field. And it's kind of basically how the system works. And roughly the cost of it would be about $5 million in terms of the trust, which is a small price to pay. Considering you're paying $60 million for a soccer stadium, $50 million for a basketball facility, and $9 million for McMillan Park. It's kind of, I think the numbers that kind of are mind-boggling is the reason we need to move to a system like this. We'll also get the folks who are running for office to knock on our doors instead of dying for dollars. Again, to put them back in the community and to put us and our voices and help us actually dictate the results of politics, going to the council right now. So, thank you.
And just one last statement on this, a similar system was instituted in New York with a 92% participation rate in the primary. So this isn't something theoretical. We have concrete examples of the fact that this has actually worked. And I know that elected officials do spend most of their time preparing for the next election, getting that campaign money in their pockets. And so if everybody's voice is equal, then they are not spending that time with people outside the community. They're focused on you, and we can all speak equally because my $100 is worth as much as yours, and nobody else can come in with thousands of dollars that I can't match and just round my voice out. So it's really a way to make government more responsive to us, and that's why I think it's important for our community.
Thank you. We're gonna move, we are out of time, so I'm gonna ask you to make it very short.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for your work and your interest in this issue. Certainly, we do need any effort that's going to make elections fair. But I think that we need to see the bill, and there needs to be more public discussion. What about people who don't live here and their relatives don't live here? For example, I've run for office in the past, and I may run for public office again. My cousin is Kyle O'Quinn of the New York Knicks. He's a millionaire. Okay, I would expect him to give me the maximum amount of money. And if I ever run again, I'll ask him for that. And as a DC resident who's worked in this city, who's lived in this city for over 35 years, I should have the right to collect money from my family members who don't have any undue influence over DC politics, they're simply supporting their relative. So we need to discuss these issues, the implications, and again, I'd like to look at the legislation.
I would say it's not participation in this program is not mandatory. So in New York, where it's been implemented and 92% of people decide to participate in the primary, that means that 8% of people said this doesn't work for me and I'm not going to participate. And voters can take that into account, whether you're getting millions of dollars from someone outside or whether you opted into this system.
Well, there are campaign finance limits, so you can't get millions.
Or, I'm sorry, I didn't.
But I guess, thank you.
You could fund an IE though, so there are ways, but like, yeah, either way. I think you can do that.
Thank you both for your presentation. Commissioners, I believe we received a sample resolution, so if there are any commissioners that at any point would like to add this to be a voting item on the agenda, we can certainly entertain that either now or at a future meeting. Thank you very much. So next up, we're going to have Mr. Arevalo from Grid Alternatives. I'm going to give you a minute to go out, and you have the floor for 5 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So my name is Albert. I'm actually going to walk around and pass this information. So I work for Grid Alternatives. We're a nonprofit solar installer. So we provide solar systems at no cost to DC residents. Aside from providing these services at no cost, we have a workforce component. So anybody that's interested in learning how to install solar, they are welcome to get up on our installs. I represent our organization, and we do work in the Mid-Atlantic area. So right now, it's DC and primarily Baltimore, just because that's where the money really is, where we can provide these services at to little to no cost. But yeah, I'm honestly just here passing out information. So we have like the same model as Habitat for Humanity as far as the 60% AMI, the income qualifications that we work for. So the program allows us to provide these services at no cost through DC Sustainable Energy Utility. So they're a partner of DC DDOE, it's DC Department of Energy and Environment, I have to restate it. So they have a Solar Advantage Plus rebate program that allows us to provide a portion of these services at no cost. The SREC market, which is one of the highest in the country in DC, it's the Solar Renewable Energy Credits. That allows us to pay for the portion of the install, and we have great industry sponsors that allow us to get some of these great equipment at little to no cost. So through that equation, we can provide these services for free because somebody else has already picked up the tab. So I'm just here passing the good work of our organization. We've actually installed about, with Habitat for Humanity, we've installed about 19 in Ivy City. So if anyone's interested in either learning about solar, you can have little to no experience, and you are under our supervision, and you get to learn doing some of the electrical work inside the home and on the roof. Actually, this past week we celebrated our 1 millionth install as far as installing solar across the country, and we just happened to be one of those organizations that installed the 1 millionth install in the country. So it's a rapidly growing business. It's outproducing jobs from a lot of these dirty energy suppliers. So the misconception is that you still will be connected to the grid, and that's partially because you have a small roof in DC. So you can go off grid and you'll still be a customer of Pepco. But if anybody is wanting to discuss with me further, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I have my information. It's either my or a coworker's information on the flyers that I passed out. My name is, I did not introduce myself, my apologies. So my name is Albert. My last name is, sometimes I forget how to pronounce it. It's Arevalo. So it's Arebalo. So if you guys have any questions, I'm in the outreach team. We're just trying to spread the word and try to help out as many DC residents as possible. And ideally, we want to save people about 50% on their electric bill. So if you guys know of anybody that's interested, we'd be happy to help. If you know of somebody that wants to get up on the roof, we'd be happy to help as well.
Quick question. So, 2 questions, quite related. If someone is living in an apartment building and not a single family home, can they benefit? And I see some developers members here, if someone is living in an affordable unit in an apartment building, can they enter the benefit?
So right now we're working in the single family space. We are moving into the multifamily market with a couple of projects in DC and in Baltimore, and those are already planned out. But right now our main component of our project is for single family homes. So there's a lot of misconception. We can install on flat roofs. Sometimes people hear like, oh, I can't install on a flat roof because XYZ has told me they couldn't. So, but we can. It's expensive, it's tricky, it's complicated, but we like it. We like to do and we like to serve as many people as possible.
Do you have a program where you can purchase if you don't qualify for the reduced amount?
So no, so our program, our model is just little to no cost. So if someone is above income guidelines, then they won't qualify for a program.
Great, thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo. Alright, thank you very much. Next up, we have Ms. Lyons. Did you still want the time, or?
Yeah, I apologize, so take over. I'm so used to just being here in the community moment, but
If you like, you can introduce yourself.
okay.
and have the floor.
This way I can actually adjust the room like I know. Again, good evening. My name is Nancy Lyons. I'm with the Department of Public Works. I apologize for Director Shorter not being here. I know that he actually was headed to another ANC meeting while I was leaving, so maybe he was trying to squeeze in both. Again, Murals DC is a project that we've been working on now since 2007. We started doing it basically in areas that had a lot of graffiti, but we also do the murals on buildings that just sort of want to help beautify their block. Again, these are original works of art. We work with local artists, we work with regional artists. We try to give young muralists in DC an opportunity to sort of grow and get experience. If you have commercial property, if you know somebody who may be a good candidate, certainly feel free to contact me in the office. I'm Nancy Lyons. My name is spelled with 2 E's instead of a Y. So all of our DC government addresses are first name dot last name at dc.gov, nancy.lyons at dc.gov. And the property that I mentioned earlier is 1801 Maryland Avenue Northeast. It's a large wall, and the owner is interested in having a mural on that wall. And so I'll have a further discussion about it at Commissioner Henderson's single member district meeting, and at that point, that would be for people who live in the area to discuss the 1801 Maryland Avenue Northeast. And speaking of graffiti, I should note that next week, the Department of Public Works is kicking off a graffiti blitz. So for 8 weeks, we're basically gonna be focusing on one ward at a time, just sort of getting, wiping out as much graffiti as we can. During that time, we'll be fulfilling the requests that are already in Hanson. Use that time also to make new requests, and we'll try to get to them as soon as possible. So that'll run from May 16th to actually until June 24th. It'll be 6 weeks.
How do people partake in graffiti blitz? How do we let you know that it's happening?
Okay, so if you want to report graffiti, you can call 311 and they actually will put it into the system so that we actually can log it. If you'd like to actually be a part of it, we also are trying to get people involved, community members, residents involved to actually help clean. So if you'd like to do that, you can actually contact me and you can do that as well. So for next week, we're starting off in Ward 1 because that's the area where we typically get the most amount of graffiti abatement requests. And we actually are working with a lot of, we're working with ServBC and a lot of other residents and businesses that are gonna be cleaning the U Street corridor, and in that area, there's a lot of tagging. There's been just a lot of resurgence of graffiti, particularly as the city becomes more and more commercial. Taggers basically want to be seen. So we don't typically see them in neighborhoods that may have a lot of other issues, but areas where there's a lot of bars, restaurants, that's typically where we have a lot of graffiti. I live on the borderline of 5 and 6. I'm on 13th and Maryland Avenue. I know I don't typically see a lot of graffiti in this area, but if you all do, please let me know, and I can make sure. Okay.
Well, just to give you a heads up, I've already put in a service request, but 1828 Benning Road, there's graffiti on the side of that building, and it's also very active with open air drug trafficking.
Okay.
So we want to definitely focus on.
That's 1828.
Yes, Benning
Okay.
Road.
All right, so I'll make sure they get that during the blitz.
Thank you.
And I also have information about your resisting illnesses and
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. This is not on the PowerPoint, my apologies, but next up,